This morning, right now, we want to talk about a foundation, a local foundation happening with an event coming up in the fall. But it really started when this family faced a child's cancer diagnosis. I can't imagine, but I would think that the world changes forever. So this morning, two parents joining us right now who have turned their loss into a mission of hope after they lost their 3-year-old Benjamin to a rare brain cancer called medulloblastoma. Molly and Zach Poole created the Benjamin the Brave Foundation really to help support other families facing this devastating disease. So they are here. Molly and Zach, thank you again. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's talk about Benjamin. What kind of little boy was he?
So thank you for having us. We're so excited to be here today to talk about Benjamin and the impact he's had through our foundation. Benjamin was our first baby. Like everything you can imagine with your firstborn. He was gentle, he was joyful, he was wise beyond his years. My sister used to say, he was an old soul in a tiny body. He had this presence about him that, made strangers want to stop and smile at him and talk to him. He really was just such a happy boy. He made all feel right in this world. And so then when he was 2 years old, something was off. It was in the height of COVID. It was the summer after everything shut down for COVID. And he started having weird eye movements in the morning. And so it was a blur of hospital visits and ER visits and doctor's appointments trying to figure out what it was. Wasn't COVID, wasn't a virus, it wasn't a seizure. We were just coming to a bunch of dead ends with no answers until we ended up in the ER one night and they did an MRI and they found a brain tumor. And the brain tumor was located in, the worst possible spot it could be in. It was near his brainstem, so they needed to remove it the next day because any pressure on the brainstem could kill you. So within 12 hours, we're hearing brain tumor, it could be cancer. Your 2-year-old needs a 6-hour brain surgery the very next morning. I mean, we're just panic mode. We're just reacting. And so.
It's got to be surreal.
It is, yeah.
In the moment.
It was kind of his, the surgery went well. So that was great. But then, what came after that was worse. It was his diagnosis. They found out it was medulloblastoma, but one of the most aggressive subtypes of medulloblastoma. And so from then, we were just panic mode in a rush. We didn't have time. We were racing against the clock at that point. Do you want to go into?
Yeah, I think Molly said an accurate description of Benjamin. He was a joyous boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had to move quickly, and Benjamin was emergently intubated at one of the local hospitals here, and they pretty much told us that, hey, we're going to administer an emergency round of chemotherapy, and if this works, he may survive. If it does not work, prepare for him not to survive this. And so it did work. He did come off of the breathing trials. He remained strong, steadfast. And, collectively, Molly and I decided we rounded all the troops that we could amongst family, friends, and said, hey, where is the place that we need to get our son? And we flew him to DC Children's Hospital, and we lived there for almost 7 months. The chemotherapy, multiple brain surgeries throughout this time, multiple rounds of intense chemotherapy, and a miracle happened. He was in radiographic remission at the end of that tenure, and then we came back here to Charlotte, and Atrium Levine's was our home base hospital here, and they took excellent care of Benjamin. And after that, we were told to go through a monoclonal antibody therapy for Benjamin to treat him. to try to give him the best outcome. And unfortunately, his cancer relapsed, and we had to go through intense radiation therapy for him. And unfortunately, he passed away of the disease. But we had excellent care from our doctors, from our staff, throughout the Carolinas, through Columbus, Ohio, through Washington, D.C. We can't thank them enough, and that was the inspiration for what we're trying to do now.
You moved around so much in such little time, and that roller coaster ride as well for Benjamin. How did he handle the treatment and this journey from finding out what happened?
He was 2, so he still couldn't really. I mean, he talked, but he was always very. I mean, he went through 6 rounds of high-dose chemo, so they said that alone, the chemo could bring him to the brink of death, not even the cancer. It's just the chemo is so hard on his body. So that's why we pretty much lived in the hospital for like a full 6 to 7 months. I don't think he ever really got out for more than 1 or 2 days during those times. But he always tried to play. He was always singing and dancing, and of course, half the time he didn't feel great, but he tried so hard, and that's just the beauty in kids, right? That's all he knew at the time, and he was like, I'm just gonna embrace this. I have my parents and make.
He liked golf, it looks
happy.
like.
Yes, we played golf in the hospital.
Top golf
we brought
as well.
in so many different things in that hospital to try to make it, as fun as possible in the worst possible setting that you could be in.
What a sweet, sweet spirit. And what inspired you then to start Benjamin the Brave?
Well, I think for us, when Molly and I got the diagnosis, we came from backgrounds where we had, employers that stood behind us, and we had, good jobs, good health insurance. We had a unit in our families that were very, very supportive, and we had the ability to travel and to do these things. And frankly, there's a lot of families that get diagnosed with medulloblastoma that don't have those same opportunities potentially. And so what we try to do is work directly with the social workers at the hospital. If they have a family that gets diagnosed with this disease, they reach out to us directly and say, hey, this family may be in need of long-term Airbnb housing. This family may be behind on a mortgage. This family may need XYZ for food cards, gas cards, etc. And we try to provide that to them quickly because, throughout this process with Molly and I, we found out that, sometimes there's not quick access to, funds, et cetera, that you may need. And so we pride ourselves as an all-volunteer organization, and we get those funds to those folks quickly, and we get them in the hands of the social workers who know those patients best.
I mean, there are so many things that we are unprepared for, right, Molly, as far as expenses when something like this hits not only your child, but really the whole family, an extended family.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You're moving your whole family if you are, don't have the resources locally, and you do have to move to fight for your child and get the treatment that they need. You need, there's, temporary housing that's available, but if you want to live in like a house setting with Airbnbs, you need help. And you still have to pay your mortgage at home, and you still have the expenses at home. Luckily, it was just, with Benjamin, it was just us. I was pregnant with my oldest daughter at the time, going through it, but we didn't have to move, kids and everything, so I couldn't imagine doing that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
On top of it all, so.
Yeah, it sounds like you already have a good support system, but there's only so much that can take care of. And so what kind of initiatives then does Benjamin the Brave Foundation support?
So we found out, through the hard way of Benjamin getting this brain cancer, that funding for pediatric cancer, federal funding, is limited. I think last time I checked, it was 4% of federal funds go to all pediatric cancers, not even brain tumors specifically. That makes it rely heavily on foundations and nonprofits raising money to fund this research that we need to hopefully, find a cure for Benjamin's disease, so there won't be another Benjamin, right? So that's what we do. We try to, we have our big fundraiser at the end of the year or in the fall to raise money to send. Last year, I think we sent some money we sent some money to Atrium Health to fund 5 brain tumor samples for them to start researching. To hopefully, along with helping the families, but to hopefully find some sort of step in the right direction towards his.
I mean, not even paying it forward. It's just so much bigger than the family.
Yeah, and it's all we can do.
Hospital.
Like our kids are our life. Benjamin's not here anymore, so if we can channel, all that love and that energy that we give to Benjamin if we were here, to helping other families and finding some sort of cure to his awful disease. It's all we can do, right? And
tell us about the event then that's coming up here, Zach. What can people do to get involved?
So September 26th and 27th is our flagship fundraiser event. We do a silent auction on Friday the 26th. It'll be hosted at Carolina Lakes Golf Club in Indian Land, South Carolina. And then on the 27th, we have our foursome golf scramble event, and it's open to 32 teams, and usually we fill those spots. So you can go to www.benjaminthebrave.org and get the sign-up information for that. And it's a great event. Everyone has a good time. The local community's involved. I'm proud to say this year, and every year we get local community leaders and sponsors involved. This year's title sponsor is my employer, Chandler Volta Injury Law, and they have just been paramount in believing in me and Benjamin's story, and really wanting to get out there and ensure that we have a great event. And we have flag sponsors, pin sponsors, everything that you can think of. But, getting out there and playing the event is, in my opinion, it's just a great experience for everyone, because it's for such a good cause.
Right. Such a good cause, and the community involved, and I would imagine really, really good positive energy, right?
It's such positive energy and experience whenever we're out there, and like Molly said, we don't get to protect, love, and hold Benjamin here on earth, but with the foundation, that's really what we try to cultivate. In that we really believe in what we're doing, and really trying to make a positive impact on these families and their children's lives.
Molly, you said you were pregnant with your eldest daughter. You have 2 daughters,
yes,
right? Both of you have 2 daughters now. They did not get to know Benjamin, but I would imagine you have him introduced to the rest of the family,
yes.
Right? What do you tell them?
My oldest, we actually had her the same day that Benjamin had to go into the hospital for his last round of chemo. So we had Madeline, and then Zach took Benjamin after a few hours after we had her. So Madeline did know him. I think he passed away when Madeline was 8 months old. So she acts like she remembers him, but of course she doesn't. But she loves saying, like she has, her big guardian angel brother, and talks fondly of that.
So sweet.
So yeah, we keep his name very alive in our house, and I feel like we're always talking about the signs he sends us. We think cardinals are Benjamin, so every cardinal we see, Madeline's like, "There's Benjamin."
I saw Benjamin the other day.
Right.
Yes, that's great.
So yeah, they know very well. It feels like he's his presence is still with us, shining down.
Well, I mean, Molly and Zach, I was just saying to you off here as I was researching, I was just booing my eyes out yesterday, but I barely kept it together, so thank you for coming in and sharing Benjamin, your mission with Benjamin the Brave Foundation, and how you're honoring him through your mission. So fabulous work. Again, benjaminthebrave.org.
Yes,
right? Ma'am. The event, September 26th and 27th. Which golf course?
Carolina Lakes Golf Course in Indian Land, South Carolina.
Okay. If I'm not doing anything that day, if I'm not here in the podcast studio, Live Impact Studio, maybe I get involved there and swing a couple
that would be great.
in Benjamin's honor.
Oh,
Thank
we
you.
would love
That would be great.
Zach and Molly Poole coming in here to the Live Impact Studio. Again, we're honored for you to share your story, and Benjamin's as well.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Look at this. One more sweet picture of a little Benji there. Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys.